What's going on, everyone? This is Vince with VShred.com, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the hip thrust. Obviously a great exercise for building the posterior of your body, especially building your glutes, which is important for so many different reasons. Instead of just showing you the exercise, I'm going to be talking about the biggest mistake that I see made when it comes to the hip thrust and what might be causing you to A, hurt your low back, and B, not get the gains that you're looking for.
I'ma keep on going up till the lights go down.
All right, like I said in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the hip thrust and most importantly, the biggest mistake that I see made when it comes to the hip thrust. Obviously, it's a great exercise for building lower body strength, for building your glutes, for helping with low back pain, but the issue is a lot of people are doing this exercise wrong because they either haven't been told how to do this exercise or they just see people doing it and they are watching somebody else who's doing it wrong and therefore they're doing it wrong as well. And there's a lot of mistakes that I see made with this, but I'm gonna be talking about the biggest, and the reason why is because this exercise, if done wrong, will hurt you. And so I wanna make sure that you're not hurting yourself and you're just doing this right so that you can get the gains in the gym that you wanna get. Before I get into it, I do wanna say, I get a lot of questions on here and on Instagram and on Facebook and through emails, people asking like how do they drop lower body fat? How do they lose weight? How do they build muscle? What are they doing wrong? And my first thing is always to make sure that A, they're hitting their macros and dieting correctly, but also understanding just what your body type is. And because for me personally, I'm an ectomorph. I'm a skinny guy. I'm a hard gainer. And so I have to eat a lot more. I have to lift a very specific way. I have to limit how much cardio I'm doing. And if you followed my same regimen and you have trouble losing weight versus gaining weight, then you're not going to get the results that you're after. You have to know what your body type is and go from there. And if you don't know what your body type is and you don't know how to go from where you are to where you want to be, you have to figure that out first. And I have a free body type quiz that tells you exactly what to do. It's 6 questions, it's free, it's super easy. Click the link in the description below, take it, and I guarantee it'll help you. Now, let's get into this exercise. So, you know what the hip thrust is. I'll just get down into this. Basically, you have something back behind you to support you. You have a bar here, and then some people throw weights on if you're not tough like me. But basically, you go from here, get your back up on this bench, get into your starting position, and then you go from here to here. And you're really focusing on squeezing your glutes. Great exercise for your posterior. Squeezing up, back down. Now, the issue that I see when it comes to the hip extension or the glute thrust or the glute extension or the hip thrust, whatever you want to call it, is this is what you see. You see people going like this. Now, this might not look bad because, I mean, you're going from having it down at the bottom to up at the top. The issue with this is look at what my back is doing. You see how my ribs are kind of poking out right here, and my low back is in an arched position. And so when it comes to your pelvis, the most important thing when it comes to hip extension is making sure that your pelvis is not back like that. You want your pelvis to be tucked, just like so. Because the first thing that happens when you tuck your pelvis is your glutes turn on. And so if you're trying to hit your glutes, you have to make sure that your glutes are turned on and you're not in this overextended position. That's also going to put your spine in a really bad position. So getting under this, rather than getting here and dropping just your hips down and keeping your head facing straight up and you see your ribs and you're in that arched position, what I want you to do is get up to this starting position. I want you to tuck your chin. And then from there, what I want you to do is really focus on keeping your pelvis tucked. So rather than letting it arch like that, I want you to keep it tucked. And then as you go down, let your face follow your body. So it goes from here to there, and then back up to there. And so that's probably the biggest mistake is people arch. But what happens is when you're arching your back at the bottom, you're also probably arching your back at the top. And so what happens is people, I'll put this weight on, people get under this weight and they're arching their back at the bottom. And so right there, they're in a really bad position. And then when they get up to the top, they're also arching their back at the top. So there's a big difference between this position and that position. So this is where my glutes are on. I want you to almost act like you have a pin and it's in between your butt cheeks and you're squeezing your butt cheeks to keep that pin in place. So that's what you should feel like. Hips are tucked, chin is tucked, dropping down, letting your face follow, going down, everything's still tucked. I'm not arched, I'm tucked, squeezing up. I'm going only to there. So I'm not overextending here. I'm going right there, hips tucked, and back down. Up, hips tucked, down, hips tucked. So, to summarize, the biggest mistake that I see made when it comes to hip thrust is not tucking your hips. Everybody thinks, especially when it comes to usually ladies, not trying to single you out, but when you're doing leg exercises, whether it be squats or split squats or lunges or whatever, you think that the more you stick your butt out, the more you're gonna hit your butt. Not true. The more you tuck your butt and go down and come back up and squeeze, that's how you hit your glutes. And so it's the same thing with this. If you're arching your back at the bottom and then overextending at the top, A, your low back is going to be extremely sore the next day. You might just end up injuring yourself. And B, your glutes aren't gonna be very sore. Your low back's gonna be sore. So make sure that when you're going to this exercise, it's a great exercise. Everybody should do this exercise. I literally just hit legs 2 days ago and I was doing hip thrusts because great exercise for your low body. You can load up a bunch of weight. It's one of the best ways to build lower body strength. Making sure that you're doing it right is super important, especially because it's an exercise that you can overload the weight. So tuck your hips, get into that position. First thing you're doing is tucking. So you're not here, you're there. And then you're going down, letting your chin follow, squeezing up, and really focus on squeezing your glutes at the top. So that's it, guys. I know it was pretty quick, but hopefully this helps you. If you enjoyed this, make sure that if you like this video, you like these types of videos, make sure you're clicking that thumbs up button below. Also subscribing to the channel here on YouTube and turning on post notifications. That way you don't miss out on any future videos. And commenting down below what you thought. Like, do you like hitting legs? Do you like doing hip thrusts? Have you ever done this mistake before? Are you guilty of this? No shame in the comments. I'd love to see that these videos are helping. So comment down your thoughts down below. But that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.